If you have the iPhone 13 and are looking to see if it's worth getting the 15, or just curious about the difference between the two models, this video is for you. I'll be doing a comprehensive comparison on the hardware, user experience, features, providing camera samples so you can decide which one would fit your needs. As usual, I'll have chapter markers, so feel free to jump around if you're looking for something specific. But first, let's talk about the options that you could get. You have the option to choose from 3 different storage sizes, 128, 256, or 512 gigabytes on either model. And when they were launched, they were both launched at a base price of $799 in the US for the 128 gigabyte version. As for colors, both of them came in a wide variety of colors, but in general, the 15 has kind of more muter or lighter tone colors versus the 13, which tend to be a lot more bolder or deeper colors. But the two I'm going to be comparing in this video would be the black color on the 15 and the midnight blue on the 13, which are the darkest color offerings for both of these models. And just FYI, the 13 model doesn't have an actual black color for some reason. Let's start out with the unboxing. If you want the full actual unboxing experience, I did separate videos on them already. You can check out my channel for those. But as usual, on the cover of the boxes are the full-size renders of the phones, with the 13 showing the back and the 15 highlighting its dynamic island, which was new for that year. And then you see it's all black Apple logo and iPhone on the sides. On the back stickers, you'll find the contents and also serial number, model number, that sort of thing. Removing the top cover, inside there's as usual a little bit of a punch in for the camera bumps, and you can see it is a different size between the two. The 15's a little bit larger. First thing you greet it with are the phones themselves, and of course they had the protective film over it showing where the button and ports were when you first get it brand new. But putting that to the side, because we'll be obviously discussing the phones themselves in great detail, the rest of the box contains a single accessory and the paperwork. There's less and less paper as generations go by. On the 15, there are just 2. One basic information on the iPhone, and then a piece of paper telling you that there's no SIM card tray or physical SIM card tray on the 15 anymore. The 13 has 3 items. It has that slip of paper about the iPhone, still 1 Apple sticker, and a physical SIM tray ejector since it still has a physical SIM card. So no more Apple stickers moving forwards if that's your thing. At least they still give you a charging cable out of the box. For the 15, it's going to be USB Type-C to USB Type-C, and it is this nicer braided cable design. They're both the same length at 3.3 feet long or 1 meter long. The cable for the 13 is a USB Type-C to Lightning since it still has a Lightning port, but the cable itself is the old classic rubberized feel for the actual cable wrapping. So that's what you get out of the box. Now let's talk about the hardware and the feature changes between the two. Size-wise, the 13 is a little bit shorter and maybe a hair thinner, but 15 does have that bigger camera bump. But weight-wise, the 15 is a little bit lighter, and it does feel lighter in the hand if you compare the two actually. And that might just be attributed in how it feels in the hand. The 13 has a glossy glass back with a matte camera bump, and it has very boxy straight edges. The 15 has a matte glass back, but a glossy camera bump with more curved screen edges and also on the back. Personally, I definitely prefer the 15's design. The matte back just feels a lot nicer in the hand, and it also doesn't attract fingerprints or lint as easily as the glossy 13. But on the sides, they both have aluminum side rails, and they both still have the mute switch. Same buttons, except of course the 13 still has the physical SIM tray, which is still on the right hand side. Right side is pretty much identical with the power button, the 5G antenna band, and other antenna bands on the sides, and just another antenna band at the top. No headphone jack to be seen. Both use the same Face ID technology. Both have an IP68 water resistance, Wi-Fi 6, and NFC for mobile wallet payments. They both have ultra-wide band technology. They both support the 5G antenna band, and both have the emergency SOS safety feature. Talking about some of the hardware differences, the 15 has the newer A16 Bionic chip, whereas the 13 has the A15 chip, but both have the same number of CPU cores, but 15 has 1 more GPU core. And while both phones have the ultra-wideband, the 15 has the second generation one, which allows it to have better precision when using Find My. The 15 only has eSIMs. It can support 2 simultaneous eSIMs at a time, but can store up to 8, whereas the 13 has 1 physical SIM card and can support up to 2 eSIMs. The last generation actually in the US to support the physical SIM card. For Bluetooth, the 15 has 5.3, 13 has 5.0, and the 15 also has the ability to send messages to the satellite. Though unsure at this point if it will eventually become a paid service, but it has this ability. And another safety feature the 15 has is crash detection, so that it will notify maybe your loved one in emergency services if it detects that you are in a crash. Now, talking about the screens, both have a 6.1-inch display, but the 15 has the curved edges, so the screen protectors are actually not compatible, even if you find one that matches out all the cutouts. But they both do still have the same pixel density and are made of the same material, ceramic shield. The 15 has that new dynamic island, which I personally found very useful. It makes things really easy to switch between apps and then just see live quick notifications of apps running in the background. The 13, of course, just has the simple notch design. The 15 also has a higher max brightness level, and you will notice it definitely both indoors and especially outdoors if you compare them side by side. Charging these guys up, they both support the same wireless technology, Qi MagSafe, which it can even charge at a rate of 15 watts if you have a 20 watt adapter or higher. Again, clearly not in the box. But wired wise is still the fastest way to charge. It can charge at a full 20 watts and you can get 50% of your battery within 30 minutes. Of course, the connector ports are different between the two, USB-C on the 15 and Lightning on the 13. When brand new, their battery capacity was rated at 20 hours for the 15 and 19 hours for the 13. But these are just Apple's numbers, however they determined that. Really, day to day, I didn't really notice a huge difference in battery life between the two. Obviously, my 13 is aged a little bit more, but brand new, I didn't feel like it was a massive difference. But now let's have a listen to their speaker quality. Maybe if you have sharper ears than I do, but to me, their max volume and also the fidelity of the sound coming out of these speakers is roughly the same. They're not going to blow you away, they're still cell phone speakers, but they'll do the job. Now let's talk about their cameras. Starting off with the rear camera, the 15 has a dual 48 megapixel wide f1.6 main camera and then a 12 megapixel f2.4 aperture ultra wide rear camera, which allows it to not only have the 0.5 and 1x zooms but also the 2x optical zooms. The 13 on the other hand has two 12 megapixel cameras. The wide is f1.6 and the ultra wide is f2.4. So this allows it to only support 0.5 and 1x optical zooms. The 15 also has the addition of cinematic video up to 4K. Both support cinematic video, but the 15 can support up to 4K. It also has the action mode, which is absent on the 13, and it has much better focusing, so it detects people or objects much better in portrait mode. The 15 also has the photonic engine in HDR5 versus the 4 on the 13, so it has newer technology for photo processing. But those are just the main differences between the two. They both have a lot of things in common, with the rear camera both having censorship optical stabilization, the choice of photographic styles, HDR footage, cinematic mode, night mode time-lapse, deep fusion, night photography, though there is still the issue with the green glare. There's also portrait mode with the bokeh and portrait lighting effects, and they both support stereo recording. video up to 4K 60 FPS, and slow-mo up to 240 frames per second at 1080p. So the rear cameras is really where the 15 has the advantage with its 48 megapixel camera, allowing it to have that 2x optical zoom, allowing it to take better, higher resolution photos at a farther distance. The 15's larger sensor also helps it see a little bit more in the dark as well without flash. But the 13 is no slouch by any means. You can see by the comparison of these footages, the 15 just is slightly better in a few areas, particularly on maybe color accuracy and of course low light performance compared to the 13. As for the front-facing camera, both are 12 megapixels, f1.9. They both support retina flash, portrait modes, and emojis, you name it, and also slow-mo. But the 15 does have the better processor, so it has the photonic engine and HDR5. But we're really splitting hairs here. The footage from the front-facing camera on both are pretty comparable. Now let's talk about software performance. Do note that I am on 18.7 on my iPhone 15 and 17.6 on iPhone 13 just because these are actually my work phone and my company limits which OS I can upgrade them to. But let's first take a look at their benchmark scores. I'm running the app Antutu benchmark for both of these. As expected, the 15 did finish first and it has a slightly higher score in all of the categories. But the greatest difference is between the CPU performances, much narrower gap for the GPU, memory, and user experience scores. And both of them drain about 8% of the battery running this benchmark test. But of course, benchmarks are only part of the story in terms of raw data. So let's do some real world tests. Let's start off with the boot up times. Interesting enough, the iPhone 13 actually edged out the 15, but really only by like a second. And then for navigating through the OS, pulling down the control center, swiping through app pages are all very smooth and seamless. Opening and loading apps, the 15 however does win every single time, especially on those larger apps. Same story with loading up Safari browser tabs, it just loads much faster on the 15. Loading YouTube videos however, it's pretty neck and neck. The 15 does load slightly faster, but it's really not by much. Then for gaming performance, of course the game does load faster on the 15, but actually playing it through on some of these like higher graphics intensive games, I found the experience to be pretty comparable between the two. And finally, if you're looking for Apple Intelligence, well, neither of these phones, at least the base models, support Apple Intelligence. So you're not going to get that on either of these two. So that could be a pro or a con depending on where you stand on that front. So overall, I think the 15 isn't a major upgrade compared to the 13. It definitely has some very nice rear camera improvements, especially with that 48 megapixel rear camera, allowing for higher resolution photos and better low light performance, that 2x optical zoom. Or maybe you just need to have that USB-C standardization to just use one cable for all your devices. And while not a game changer necessarily, but it is a very nice quality of life improvement with the dynamic island. So if those points I just highlighted are enough for you, then go ahead and upgrade to the 15. But if you're looking for more camera features, you might need to go pro at that point. So I hope this video was helpful to you. If it was, please give it a like. It would be greatly appreciated. And make sure to subscribe for more thorough content like this. Thanks for watching.